I never thought a single morning could shatter my world like that. It was back in early 2020, in a quiet suburb of Orlando, Florida, where I'd built my life around a little stream that wound through my backyard. That water wasn't just a feature on the map, it was where my dad, Robert Harper, had shown me how to cast a line, where we'd spent lazy afternoons talking about engines and dreams. He was gone by then, taken by a sudden heart attack a couple years earlier, but his garage full of classic cars and tools kept his spirit alive. Until that day, I jolted awake at dawn to the roar of cement mixers. Stumbling out in my robe, I saw them 3 massive trucks pouring concrete right into the stream, blocking it like they were filling a pothole. The foreman just shrugged when I yelled, pointing to a sharp-dressed woman on the other side of the fence. She was Victoria Lang, the HOA president, barking orders like she owned the earth itself. Within half an hour, the water backed up, flooding my garage. I scrambled to save what I could, but it was hopeless. Dad's prized 1965 Corvette, the one he'd restored piece by piece, sat in 6 inches of muck. The engine seized, the leather seats ruined. Total loss, $50,000 worth of heirlooms and client projects gone. Insurance called it natural causes and denied the claim. Cops shrugged it off as a neighbor dispute. The city promised to look into it in months. I was drowning in bureaucracy while my livelihood sank. But the real gut punch came when I confronted Victoria. She sauntered over in her fancy heels, eyed the mess, and sneered. A few rusty relics got damp. Big deal. Folks like you ought to pick spots that handle a little rain. Her voice dripped with disdain, like I was beneath her. I bit my tongue, playing the clueless grease monkey, but inside, rage boiled. What she didn't know? I wasn't always turning wrenches. Tucked in my toolbox was a civil engineering degree I'd shelved for 2 decades to run Dad's shop. I designed flood control for whole towns before. Now it was time to use it. The fallout hit hard. My premiums skyrocketed, adding $500 monthly I couldn't spare. Clients bailed, whispering about my flood risk setup. I dropped weight. Hands trembled from sleepless nights staring at water stains. But I dug deep. Online searches revealed Victoria wasn't just pushy. She was a fugitive from Texas fraud schemes, where she'd built families out of millions in bogus developments. She targeted quiet neighborhoods, built illegally, and vanished. This wasn't landscaping. It was her desperate cash grab. I started small, redirecting some overflow toward her sleek Mercedes in the driveway. It flooded the engine, and when she stormed over accusing sabotage, I shrugged. Stream's fickle since you damned it. Her fury was telling. She preyed on the weak. That night, holding Dad's old fishing pole, I vowed patience over fury. Smart over strong, like he taught. Next, I eyed her crew. The foreman, Luis Martinez, looked haunted, arguing safety with his guys. Over beers, he confessed, single dad. His 10-year-old needed $20,000 for a kidney transplant. Victoria threatened his papers, though he was born in Miami. Classic bully tactics. I showed him articles on her Texas scams. His face paled. Help document this, I said, and I'll cover the surgery from my savings. Tears in his eyes, he agreed. Over days, he recorded her skipping inspections, bribing an official with $15,000 cash, and rushing to sell 10 homes before bolting to Belize. She was corner-cutting because bankruptcy loomed. Meanwhile, I waged my war. Loosened wires killed power mid her $40,000 investor pitch deal tanked. Had her Audi towed before a loan meeting $600 fee, appointment missed. She melted down, but I kept going. Neighbors shared horrors. $600 fines for wrong fence colors, $1,200 for bird feeders, drawing vermin. Victoria weaponized the HOA to fund her mess. 8 families joined my quiet rebellion. Luis uncovered the darkest twist, a Colorado clipping from 2017. Builder perishes in freak mishap amid probe. It was his brother, Diego, who'd worked Victoria's site, found the fakes, and slipped off a cliff. Accident. Diego drove like a pro. Victoria wasn't just crooked, she might be lethal. Luis had taken the job for his kid, risking everything. I couldn't back down. I marched into her office with a 50-page flood report, flashing my engineer's license. I'm no mere tinkerer, Victoria. I've mapped drainage for counties. Her smugness shattered as I laid out models. A storm in 48 hours would swamp her 10 homes with 3 feet of water. Deadly. She hurled threats lawyers, city pals, even dug up my late mortgage payments. Your dad would despise this, she spat. But I had proof she knew the risks. Luis, freed by a community fundraiser hitting $20,000, handed over tapes of her bragging about duping gullible hicks in 3 states. I scared off her $500,000 bulk buyer with my analysis. Media on speed dial, I framed it. Expert versus greed. But my software glitched storm weakened. Would the flood fizzle, letting her slide? No. I called stations at dawn. Licensed engineer here. Fraudulent builds flooding live at 9 a.m. Crews arrived. I narrated as rain built. By 10, water breached doors. Foundations cracked exact, as predicted. Victoria waded in, lying on camera. Freak weather. Louise played her bribes publicly. FBI swarmed, cuffing her in the muck. Viral gold. Evacuations saved lives. Her empire crumbled. Assets seized. But victory soured. My garage emptied while I interviewed. Tools, car spoof. No traces. A chilling call. You've meddled in big affairs, Mr. Harper. Tread lightly. FBI linked it to Victoria's syndicate, a multi-state racket tied to her. My theft? Their intimidation tactic. Suddenly, I was a key witness. Raids recovered my stuff. Insurance paid as crime recovery. Victoria got 10 years federal, plus state time judge slammed her for preying on the vulnerable. Awards poured in. Engineering honors, speaking gigs. My firm boomed, consulting on fraud. Luis became inspector, his girl healed. The stream revived, boosting values. New laws, the Harper stream, bill mandated expert reviews. $2.5 million restitution. My cut, $250,000. Then the bomb. FBI revealed dad was Robert Kingsley, whistleblower on 1980s land grabs from indigenous tribes. Witness protection stole the identity of a dead engineer, Robert Harper, murdered for sniffing the same corruption. Victoria? His cousin, hunting him to silence family ties. She'd targeted our town to erase his trail, but Dad's heart gave out first. His hidden files exposed a 40-year water theft conspiracy worth billions. I inherited $3 million trust, continuing his fight. Media dubbed me the engineer who cracked decades of deceit. Firm expanded globally. Enter Olivia Harper, the real daughter of the original Robert. At my DC award gala, she yelled, "He's stolen my dad's life. DNA proves it." Chaos. Turns out, her father's accident was murder by the syndicate. We teamed up, blending evidences. Prosecutions nailed senators. CEOs $10 billion returned to tribes. Our foundation fights worldwide. 5 years on, UN called. Fraud in 15 nations needs my skills. But Victoria's cell? Empty. Note to me. Game's not over. Escape from max security how? Who helped? The twists keep coming, proving one guy's stand can topple empires. But was my sabotage justified? Or did it make me as ruthless as her? Should whistleblowers risk families or stay silent? Did justice prevail or just spark endless vendettas? Drop your take below. Did I cross lines? Like if revenge feels sweet. Subscribe for more real-life dramas that question everything. What's your boldest stand against corruption?